Don't wait till the night before Christmas to be good.
And in 3, 2, 1, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 8 of the 7? 8. 8. Episode 8 of the 7th annual 12 podcast of Christmas. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Francois de Nation.
I'm Andrew Sorsdahl.
And I am sitting in as a representative of the Nintendo Corporation as Shigeru Miyamoto.
I like that. I'm a big Miyamoto fan.
I think even if you don't know who he is, you're a big Miyamoto fan. If you're into anything to do with electronics
or toys, like they were like a very prolific toy company back in the early 20th century. So it's like it's very likely that some of the toys that kids are playing with today or toys you played with when you were a kid are like spin-offs of shit that they like pioneered back in the day.
I guess I want to start off this episode by saying I looked back on one of the earlier episodes of this year's podcasts, and I actually had the bottles a little bit further away from me than they are now. I just want to say to everyone else, you don't look good either trying to sit up awkwardly out of a chair and grab a bottle. Like, you also look fat. It's not just me that looks fat trying to get up and get a bottle that's in front of me. I know that's what you're thinking.
So from my understanding, it's you who is making the judgment about yourself, watching yourself.
Yes.
And you're assuming that other people are making the same judgment.
Assumptions
so you're actually only talking to yourself.
Assumptions
right now.
are based on a lack of knowledge.
I see.
I know that that's what people are thinking. Look how heavy that bitch looks trying to shimmy up out of his chair to grab more to drink. You also wouldn't look good doing it.
You should start doing like the.
Anyway,
Speaking of
I'm gonna get you a rag for your forehead.
speaking of Brad's self-judgments, a momentous day occurred recently. Brad is soon to join the land of the seeing.
Oh yeah, that is a new development.
He's gonna get some glasses. He thinks that it's gonna. Every time he talks about the glasses, it slowly chips away at my own self-worth, because he makes comments like, once I get glasses, then I'm going to be such a beta, and people with glasses are inherently betas.
as I walked out of the optometrist's office, after I had chosen my frames, and I had condemned myself to the fact that I was in need of optical assistance, I could literally hear younger alpha males stalking me in full understanding that they had keen vision, athleticism, intelligence, virility.
It is weird though. When you walk in the house, I have this overwhelming urge to
Start barking at him.
The big thing for me is I wish I would have mated before, because now the chances of that ever happening are so. And not to say that everyone without glasses is a beta. Everyone with glasses is a beta.
like for you now, propagation is a very slim,
it's like-
unless you're
think
able
it's
to
the
like
opposite.
somehow weasel like another alpha males already, and you're somehow able to.
The sneaky beta,
yeah, like unless an alpha like kind of just leaves a mate and maybe goes off on like a work trip. And then I can pretend for a bit to be an alpha again, then I might be able to procreate. But the chances of that at this point
so slim.
are nil. For those of you who've never checked out Reddit/r/the Red Pill, Andrew, we have talked about this before on the program, but
it's the most toxic community on Reddit next to our Saskatoon. Our Saskatoon is
bar none.
is way more toxic than the incel subreddit by a lot. So
Really, if CSIS is monitoring Al Qaeda chat, they're in the wrong place, because they should be on our Saskatoon.
Yeah, that's where the real radicals are.
mostly just the saddest pieces of shit that I've ever seen commenting on the internet.
Just miserable fucking people.
It's like, hey, we tried a thing. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever did discuss that episode of Vice with the incel.
Oh, were you smoking?
Yeah, the guy
Yeah.
smoking in his bedroom.
Oh, and the girl comes and interviews him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's
He
frightening.
like talks about how he's putting on a show and all this stuff. If you never checked it out, look up Vice Incel. it is a very eye-opening piece if you have not no experience previously with guys who have been put down by Chads and Stacy's.
Yeah.
What's the other girl? Stacy's the good one. What's the...
I don't know. Is there a bad one? I don't think there is a bad one.
No, but the other girl's like not attractive and like...
Yeah. I don't think they
Smart.
pay attention to that one.
No.
Yeah.
There's like tons of comics. The comics mostly focus on Chads and Brads.
And Stacy's with Chad. And see, that's the thing. I was a Brad. I'm going to have to change my name now.
Yeah,
I'm going
Bradley.
to change my name to Guy with Glasses.
No, you're Bradley now that you have glasses. You went from Bradford to Bradley.
Just trying to read those nutrition facts. I am, all kidding aside, I am very excited because
You'll be able to see again.
I was editing the Prairie Sun menu the other day, and oh my God, trying to read a computer screen now is just hell.
Like, he thinks he's going to look ridiculous with glasses. You know how fucking ridiculous he looked? Semi-leaning,
Yeah, but
squatting,
nobody-
3 inches from the fucking computer screen.
I'm not picking up when I'm down here on the computer
Yeah, it was actually bad. I was down here the other day and I looked at your desk and I saw the computer screens were like more than halfway across
Yeah.
the center. And I'm like, oh, he must have been tidying up. And I'm like, but it's not tidy at all. So I'm like, oh no, this is where we're at now. Like that's like, not only do you need to crane in, you also need to bring the computers as far
Like
that the
you're-
cords will allow you to bring them.
Getting glasses is going to have such a positive impact on your back. Because you don't have to be like hunched. Like, I can't even do it. Do the weird little lean hunch thing that you do when you're trying to look. You arch your back like this and you lean in and you squint like this.
For those of you
And
out
when you're on
there,
a fine detail, you're like zooming, and as you're zooming, you're like leaning closer.
for those of you out there who are thinking like that's so weird, like all I've done is like seen Brad at the bar like without squinting and he looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's just unfortunately not how it is all the time.
Well, you squint when all you have to do to get you to squint is say, "Hey, Brad, look over there."
Yeah, but I don't look at anything when I'm at the bar. People are looking at me.
Oh, I see.
All right, they were.
You should see your faithful employee's impression of you.
I've seen it.
Going to any store looking for anything.
Yes, again, I'm not picking up at Pioneer Co-op, but when I'm at the club, leaning up with some Hennessy, like when I got a glass of
never
hen,
happened.
when I got a glass of hen,
Just a bunch of moving shapes.
I'm just like, what's up, shape?
What's up, Shotty? It's like, I'm a man. What's up, Shotty?
What's up, shouty? So I guess tweet if you have glasses, and I guess the 9th person to tweet at Prehistoric, I will send them a signed copy of these glasses that are coming when I'm done with them.
When you're
When you're done with them.
When I get another upgraded pair in 6 to 8 years, then I'll be. How often do I have to get new glasses?
you get your eyes checked every year to 2 years to see your prescription changes.
Yeah, she said 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years unless you have any notice issues.
And if you're anything like Amy, then you're...
Do you usually get new frames every time? Or do you
Yeah.
just get new lenses for your frames?
No, you get new frames every time you get a new prescription.
So in 2 years, my eyes aren't going anywhere, baby. I'm going to have these glasses for a decade. Can't stop me, baby.
I suggested blinding. Like we just cut
Like in
to...
like in Slumdog Millionaire, where
Yeah.
they fucking pour the shit in their eyes.
Well, I was going to use a sharp spoon, but that works as
I
well.
think the Slumdog Millionaire method's a little bit more.
Humane?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, I could cauter, like I could scoop it out, cauterize the ocular cord as I'm scooping them out. So it's like that way. It's like we don't really have a big mess to clean up. It'll hurt like a son of a bitch. Well, I mean, we could knock you out, and then it's like get the eyes out of there.
give 'em some jack.
It'll take you like 2 to 3 days to adjust to the new blindness, and then boom, baby.
2 to 3 days.
Like-
2 to 3 days, I'm just like a very,
Like
very
the-
active blind person. Like, not only have I gotten over the mental trauma of being blinded, I'm also like totally practically. I got a cane and a dog, and I know my other senses.
I'm saying,
in 2 to 3
day-
You're
days.
independent.
Yeah.
3 days.
Day one, we deal with the mental trauma and the actual wound. Day two, we introduce you to your new dog. Day 3, we get the poll involved. Boom, baby, you're set
By
off.
day 4, you're independent.
And we don't know if like it might be like a Matt Murdock Daredevil situation where you now have the ability to echolocate, and then it's like then you're fucking set.
I've been echolocating since the late 70s, so that's really going to work out well. I never even thought of that.
You'll be able to focus more on just the echolocation aspect.
Speaking of echolocating, we did run out of moose milk, so we're going to do a shot of coffee liqueur. Irish coffee liqueur. Andrew, do you want to grab those shot glasses? I don't know what brand it is, but that's a fucking...
You picked whatever brand you picture when you think of Irish cream liqueur. That's the brand that it is.
I think of McMilton's.
Beluga coffee liqueur.
Nothing says Christmas like dairy and alcohol.
Lots of dairy, lots of alcohol.
Briefly, I want to touch on, so Saskatoon, many cities have the same sort of a thing, but Saskatoon's got this thing that they do every year in the Christmas season, or holiday season, sorry, called the Enchanted Forest. And in essence, it's just like a little drive-through park experience where they've decorated a bunch of lights, put up a bunch of like...
Well, it's the same thing every year, though.
Yeah. So but it's all just like Frosty the Snowman cutouts, Santa cutouts with lights on them, and it's
Different
just like
different companies sponsor different lights, but it's the same companies and the same displays every year, and people fucking line up around the block to see the same fucking shit they saw the past 10 years.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
And it takes, I have to assume it takes less than a half an hour to drive through the whole thing.
Oh yeah, it's like 15 minutes maybe.
Yeah. So here's a issue that maybe they should try to rectify, or maybe like clean up their communication with. So the Enchanted Forest, it claims to be open until 10:30 at night. However, warning to all Saskatoon natives or people who are planning on doing this: don't drive there after 10 o'clock.
Don't drive there after 9 o'clock.
Because they're shutting the doors at 10:30. So that means that even if you might get there at 10 o'clock, they want the door shut at 10:30. So they know that it might take somebody, 15 minutes to half an hour to drive through. So that means there's a cutoff period where it's like, no. Like the people who are in there already, they're going to be out by 10:30. So it's like we can't like let new people in. So just make sure that you're... Yeah, probably like go there before 9:30, and you'll probably be safe to get in there. But once again, the lineup's so fucking long.
Or if you've
ever
seen it before, just maybe don't bother going because you already saw the same shit.
Hey man, if you want to get on the humbug train, I'm ready, baby.
No, that's just one specific Christmas thing that I don't.
Which is weird because like you are hard as a rock for Christmas.
I like Christmas. Yeah.
You're stiff as a stone.
Yeah, I grew up with a loving family that cared about me and enjoyed celebrating the holidays.
And I don't disagree that that's totally your...
Taut as a turtle.
No.
Yeah.
That's not how I would describe it. But,
yes.
Yeah, it's, I don't know.
You're hard as a harrier out there.
I enjoy the general spirit of giving and
love, and I get all that shit.
Yeah. I'm not a cold, dead person on the inside. I like feelings and
solid as a submarine.
And,
what?
Yeah, that's all things that I like. Giving, I like giving, being generous.
See, I'm more like Dennis.
Yeah, you remember feelings?
Yeah.
I have feelings every single day.
You remember when you were like 14 years old and you had feelings?
Yeah, remember when you were like 14, you had feelings?
But anyways, with the Enchanted Forest, if you want to go see the
very mediocre light display.
Yeah, like the
abysmally mediocre.
I don't even know how to describe it. The whatever. If you want to go to the Enchanted Forest, go before 9:30, probably before 9, because it's like you have to sit in a lineup for whatever, half an hour to 45 minutes to an hour.
I would go around 8 if you really want to get in.
If you want to get in, yeah. I mean, yeah. So, just FYI, don't, because what really sucks is if you're in that fucking lineup for an hour and then you get up to the front and then they're like, nah, sorry, you got to turn around.
A little bit of a tangent, but I actually, now that I think about it, we rarely actually talk about Christmas on the Prehistoric Podcast.
Well,
we exhausted the topic of Christmas after the third year, talking about like Christmas memories that we enjoy, and
yeah, and then it was just Andrew talking about all his favorite Christmas memories, and you and I being like, we didn't have any Christmas memories.
I don't know how many Christmas.
So what kind of traditions do you have? It's like I had the tradition of not having traditions, or for Fran and for you, it was like I had the tradition of hating Christmas because fuck that holiday.
One little tradition that we had that I maybe never talked about on the podcast.
Oh, your family likes to gamble.
No. When I had my first Christmas home with mom and dad, after my dad got custody, my mom gave me like this little fucking thing. It was like it looked like a little Santa Claus, and he had a little string on his back. And in his tummy, he had a pouch. But in his pouch, it was a translucent plastic in front. And what he was meant for was stuffing him with candy, and then you could see what candy was in him. He was like a cotton little toy. And my mom handed him to me. She's like, you put him wherever you want. And I walked over to one of our end tables, and I hooked him on the little knob on the door on the end table, and my mother puts him there every year since.
Aw,
That's cute.
like till his day.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
Yeah, he always goes there.
That's
Because
really
that's where I
cute.
put him.
Where I put him.
And then
That's your one happy memory from Christmas.
and then anyway, we started gambling after that. We
started smoking, drinking. This is what mostly your parents like bring in their Vietnamese friend who's your and bring out the special tables and turn on the ventilation fans, turn off all the lights, roll down the blinds, get the bartenders in. Your house more so turns into a casino.
Well, of course, we don't want to use the word casino because it's illegal to run a casino in your home, but a family play area.
Yes,
The Peterson family play area.
you're simply making small, possibly monetary, but probably not, wagers on various family games.
Small potential investments.
Yeah, certainly. I think.
And if thousands of dollars changes hands by the end of the night,
I mean, in what
who's to say that's illegal?
in what investment does that not happen?
and
to be fair?
who's to say that's illegal? The
What
government?
I actually am going
Who
to
are they?
propose next family holiday is, just because there's so much cash, is to do a bank account for Christmas, and then the house just gives up chips, denominational chips, because it's not good to have that much cash on hand at the house.
I see.
So
Because what if people get wind and start
Try to
come
knock us
knock
off.
over the
So we just want to say, big sign on the door that says no cash on premises, and then at the end you just get your chips,
Well,
and
you
then we
just-
do wire transfers.
and just hire a security guard.
Everybody just does wire transfers.
Yeah.
So you wire transfer into a main account, and then the house gives out chips, and then the winners get paid out.
That seems like pretty reasonable.
What's that? What's the movie where they run the house casino in their house?
I think it's called The House.
21. The book is called Taking Down the House. The movie is called 21.
Oh no, he's talking about the Will Ferrell, Amy Poehler movie, The House.
Oh, you're talking about where they
Have to get their debts paid off or something, or
No,
Their,
it's about
their
the
daughter
will.
wants to go to university,
and they never saved up any money
Well, yeah,
for
they
it.
thought they had all this money saved up, and then their accountant's like, "You
Oh, I
have
didn't really see
you
that
have
movie, yeah.
negative whatever," and they're like, "What? What happened to all this money?" And it's like they're just like, this thing is they're really terrible with saving. They don't have any understanding of finances
Right.
or anything. So then it's like, how the fuck do we make this money? So then they get a buddy of theirs. Then they
Oh, they
open
run
up
the casino in the house.
the basement casino. Yeah, it was actually really funny.
yeah, I really like that film.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
quite
remember
good.
it very well. I don't know if I think I might have come in when you guys were watching it, or like caught it halfway through on like TV or something maybe.
Yeah, it's
I
actually
don't
not
remember it very well.
of all the like recent Will Ferrell movies that have not maybe been the greatest. Like that was a good one.
See, a lot of people like Daddy's Home, and I don't.
Yeah, I'm not into that either.
Like,
There's
it
funny
was
scenes.
I
there's
really didn't
funny
care for the
scenes, yeah.
second one.
The second one was really
The
bad.
best part of the whole movie is Thomas Hayden Church talking about his son that
Yes.
comes and lives with them. Like that's the best bit in the whole fucking
the stepson
movie.
or whatever. Yeah.
Thomas Hayden Church is brilliant. He's one of those actors who is criminally underutilized.
Yeah, well-
and it's like, especially now, it's like he was in George of the Jungle way back in the day, and it's like he already had that comedy timing and that draw that is just like so good. And it's like, it's crazy to me that nobody fucking noticed and like tried to fucking get him in more shit. But it's like it's one of those things where like it feels a little bit more special.
But he might turn into like a David Spade or Rob Schneider.
If he's overused, yeah.
Yeah, it's like he's good in those bit parts, and then you try to carry. He tries to carry a movie, and it just.
I've
doesn't-
never-
No, I don't want him to carry a movie. I just want to be in more bit parts. Like,
Yeah,
that's what I want.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. More popularity as that.
Type of
Have you
character.
read that? It's like ancient, but that one like fat guy with curly hair, that extra who's in every fucking comedy TV show and every comedy movie.
I think I remember.
And he's like made a career for himself as being this extra. And like once you read this article and see his picture, you'll start noticing him in literally every comedy movie that you love. He is in Old School, Super, like literally all of them. He plays a part.
Really?
Non-speaking extra part. I think he has a couple of like one-line speaking roles, but that's it. But he's in all these fucking famous comedy movies and TV shows.
I don't have to check that out. That's very interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting read.
I think they might have done a documentary about him.
Yeah,
honestly.
they did. I think they did. I don't know if I didn't watch the actual documentary, but I read an article about the documentary. And then you see his picture of a couple of his roles in that documentary or in that
What's his
article.
Can't remember.
I can't remember what the fuck his name is.
Like for our fans out there, what can they Google?
Guy who's an extra
Fat,
in every comedy
curly-headed
movie.
extra in everything.
So if you're looking for him, look up fat curly headed extra in everything.com.
Not .com, just under Google.
No, I just don't put that in the web browser. Search that on Google.
And who knows? He might be a guest on this podcast in one day.
He might soon, tomorrow.
Yeah. We don't know. No one knows.
We should send him. We should after
how good we are
after this
planning.
podcast. We should find his name, see if we can get an email address, send him a thing, be like, "Hey, do you want to Skype in and do a little interview with us?"
Why not?
I think it's like, is he? What's he doing? Like they're not really shooting movies right now. So
Yeah, he's just sitting at home.
How
waiting.
about the Warner Brothers, I believe, announcement that they're going to
Oh, that is wild.
be
Yeah.
releasing all their 2021 content on HBO Max as on demand as well as in theaters. All their releases for 2021.
like TV? What?
Like
Streaming.
streaming. HBO Max is going to get the rights to it.
In theaters?
And in theaters. They're doing theater run, but they're also releasing it
But
same
they're doing
day.
a theater run for TV shows?
No.
No.
All their theatrical releases, the same day they release in theaters, they're also releasing on HBO Max streaming service.
Why?
Because of COVID, it's just,
COVID.
it's like it's smart.
Testing
Like
out.
somebody's got to do it. Somebody has to try a new business model to see if it's feasible.
Yeah.
I mean they are going to hemorrhage money to an extent because like piracy is this is going to be a fucking field day for piracy, but it'll be very interesting to see because there's so many different what's the word there's so many different things at play with this type of move. It'll be fascinating to see what Warner Brothers finds at the end of next year and be like, this is how much money we lost. This is how much money we gained. This is the audience retention. This is like, there's gonna be so many data points at the end of next year from what they're doing. And it's too bad because like I understand why there's like a ton of theater chains now that are like boycott Warner Brothers. Fuck them for doing this. Because it's gonna cut into their bottom line big time. But it's like it is one of those things where it's like, man, somebody's got to do it. It has to happen. It was gonna happen eventually. It had to. So like at least Warner Brothers is the one that's like taking the plunge and being like, we're fucking gonna bite the bullet for everybody else. See if it's a feasible business model.
I mean,
and then
theaters-
maybe things will change. Maybe they won't. We'll see.
I think theaters, just again, similar to the music industry, like they're catching up, but not fast enough in that they need to make going to the theater more of an experience again. Like VIP is exactly the right type of move because, yeah, it's like you have the superior audiovisual quality that you get at the theater. That's obviously a selling point for a lot of specific movies and to a lot of specific people. But in general, I think a lot of people go out to the movies because it's a thing to go and do. Like it's an experience. And
absolutely. I don't go because it's loud and the screen's big.
yeah, exactly.
I do.
Large part of that market. I mean, it's a selling point, but that's not the selling point. It's like you get to go see it optimally with optimal audio and video fidelity, but the main thing is it's an experiential thing. So I think more of what they're doing with like serving food and drinks and having alcohol in the theaters, that's a really good move. More comfortable chairs obviously is a good move. I don't know what else they could do, but like moving more towards that kind of a thing and away from the. I mean, they're still going to price gouge, but like that's essentially how they make their money is fucking concessions. So
I would really like.
Yeah, next year, we'll be able to see. Like if we want, like it depends. Like I love the theater going experience. So it's like, but when like the big thing right now is like, yeah, absolutely. The big thing right now is that this pandemic's going on. So it's like it's not like maybe the smartest thing to go see movies, or maybe not the safest thing to go see movies right now. But like I listened to I read this talk that Bill Gates gave recently, and he's somebody that I kind of have respect for in this field as far as like medicine and just intelligence goes. And he's starting to, he's like, yeah, by the end of spring, we're going to see things winding down a little bit. And by summer, it's like there should be a return to normalcy. And then in summer sometime, it should be like we'll basically be back to normal. That's kind of what he was saying.
Yeah.
So he's
depending on the vaccine.
Yeah, exactly. So he's kind of the first guy that I actually respect that's said something that I'm like, okay, there's somebody that I know that he's got people that actually know what they're doing and actually know what they're talking about. And I can he's the first person that I'm like, finally someone has like some sort of a tangible date for us. So I don't know how much, well, like Andrew said, it's like, it really depends on the movie, but yeah, it'll like next year we'll be able to see
things. How do we
things.
access it in Canada? Because we can't get HBO Go in Canada.
No, it'll be through Crave. Yeah, I think because that's what they did.
Another additional service kind of thing you have to.
I don't even think so. I think if you have that HBO subscription with Crave, like I think it'll be on there. Because there was a movie they did that with already.
Why don't they do HBO Go here?
Because basically because
Hulu?
Crazy, some weird crazy.
Because Bell bought the rights basically. That's how Bell is. That's how Crave is making a play. They essentially
does Bell own Crave?
Yes.
Oh.
Basically, the whole reason that even exists, and I haven't really checked out any of the Crave exclusive content. But the reason that they exist is because of, except for Letterkenny, I guess that's technically Crave exclusive content.
Right.
But yeah, they exist because they have HBO and like Showpass or Showtime and Comedy Central. They have all the streaming rights in Canada for those three networks. Okay. So it's going to be from their cold fucking dead hands will they surrender that. And as far as those companies are concerned, they just get a guaranteed check as opposed to having to go through all the fucking compliance shit for the Canadian laws to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one big thing that we kind of have an advantage of. Is like, I think we'll get some more stuff thrown in as the streaming thing continues because we're not a large enough market to like worry about who's capitalizing on exactly what. Because it's like, oh no, we lost the population of one of the states.
Fucking Netflix just said they're going up by $2 more.
Yeah, I've always said like, I'm willing to go up to $20, and then that's where I'll start being like, maybe I'm not gonna do it every month, or maybe I'm only gonna do it when there's a show I want to watch or something. But yeah, I like way back because we've been talking about this probably since the beginning of the fucking podcast about Netflix and like how much we're willing to pay.
The Office is leaving Netflix.
Yep, this month.
End of this month, right?
Yeah, I think somebody else is doing it. I don't know if it's Amazon or if it's Crave or whatever, but it will be somewhere else. I can't remember. Oh wait, no.
I thought
they were
NBC
saying
was
that.
Entering the
they said that they've got their own streaming service coming out.
What other NBC
Peacock.
show do I give a fuck about though?
Peacock or something?
Yeah, something like that.
What other NBC thing
Nothing,
do I care?
but they'll sell you on The Office. But that's the thing. There are people.
I would sooner buy it on Blu-ray.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree. But I know there are people that when they announced Friends was going to stream, got subscriptions to whatever streaming service just so they could watch Friends. Like there are streaming services that like their whole intro like that started their whole streaming. They weren't a streaming service, and they're like, hey, we're going to start next month, and we're going to have fucking Friends. And people bought it just so they could watch Friends, and they kept it. And now it's like they're in it. So it's like with shows like The Office, with shows like Seinfeld, with Friends, and like you have these like crazy syndicated shows that were on for like tons of seasons. And it's like it's such a value proposition. And it's like I get access to all of Friends for $12.
It's like Crave. It's like fucking South Park, Seinfeld, right there.
Yeah, it's like if you're one of those, because I know people. I'm not the same as that. Like if I'm watching The Office, I'll binge it once in a year, probably maybe.
Yeah.
So it's like for me, it's a 1 month type deal. So it's like it's not. You wouldn't sell me on a year's worth of subscription for just The Office. But I know people who are like, they'll put on The Office, watch it beginning to end, then just go back to the beginning to end. It's like it's kind of like Brad and American Dad and Family Guy. It's like if you had a streaming service that was just Family Guy, American Dad, Futurama, and South Park,
$50 a month.
you would pay whatever, and then it was like you would just be able to start and finish, and you just, it's like you don't give a shit about anything else. It's like I just want these 4
That's what
shows.
Disney should do. Just do like all the Fox animated adult
do
properties.
it, fuckers.
King of the Hill.
I think this
Because they have King of the Hill, American Dad,
Simpsons,
Simpsons,
no, not
South
South
yeah,
Park.
they do. They have Simpsons, but it's on Disney
Not
Plus.
South Park, I mean.
Everything but South Park they have, basically.
I guess that gives us a good time to talk a little bit today about our sponsor, not sponsor, Tubi. Tubi is a free,
superior
streaming
service.
where you can get content such as Gremlins and Gremlins 2.
You can watch the entire original Digimon series. You can watch
get
Beast
Gremlins on
Wars.
there?
Yeah.
You can watch Beast
We
Wars.
need that for our Christmas movie marathon.
You can watch
Thank
Beast
you.
Machines. Yu-Gi-Oh's on there.
What about the Abridged series?
So if you look up
Probably.
tubi.com/prehistoric podcast, you'll get 10% off their free streaming service. That's your first month, 10% off free. So thank you so much to everyone for tuning into today's.
No, we're not quite done yet.
We also need to talk to you about our other sponsor, AndrewsCockrings.com.
AndrewsCockrings.com. If you're looking for a buzz on your pud, check out AndrewsCockrings.com.
Yes, yeah, indeed.
I just want to circle back a little bit to the Warner Brothers thing.
Sorry.
So next year, we will be able to watch films like, or you'll have the option, I guess, to watch films like the new Wonder Woman movie, The Matrix 4, the new Godzilla movie. There's one, Dune. Dune is fucking massive. That's a crazy thing. You'll be able to have the option of going to the theater or staying in and watching it at home. Day one, same day as they come out in theaters, which is fucking wild.
It's also wild that you could do that theoretically and skip the dishes, the popcorn from the theater to your house
And have essentially
Like-
the same service.
because, like, especially with you guys, you have not only do you have a nice 65-inch or 60-inch, 65
65.
65-inch 4K TV, you also have a pretty decent surround sound system. Like, I don't have any surround sound at all, so you guys have pretty decent audio and video quality to enjoy those films right at home.
Yeah. The thing unless somebody else has more they want to talk about, but it's like the thing I want to mention before we're done today, speaking of audio and visual quality, is they, first of this month, they released a new home edition of The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit in 4K Blu-ray. And I went online, I watched some reviews, and it's the first time they've touched the original prints. The original prints of Lord of the Rings since the movies came out. Essentially, when they made The Lord of the Rings, they made what's called they do this with every movie, but they make a master print. And so before 4K was a thing, they would usually render these master prints out in 2K, because it's like you'd never, like in a movie theater, you don't need more than that because it's being projected. And in home viewing up until the last few years, you've never needed more than a 2K print. So The Lord of the Rings has never been touched since they were made since they were released back in 2001, 2002, and 2003. But for these 4K releases, Peter Jackson oversaw this, and he actually, they went back, they got the original film negatives. They did actually take the original effects and they re-rendered all the effects. They redid all the film. They remastered it all in, I think they did it in like 8K or something, but it's like obviously then transcoded to 4K.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen Lord of the Rings in 4K yet, but they also went back and they went through and they took The Hobbit and they redid it all in 4K and they re-exported all the effects and they did all the stuff.
How much is the set for all 6 of them?
So the set for all 6 of them isn't out yet, but you can get the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit separately. So they each cost $120 respectively, I think.
4K.
So the only one I bought, because the one I was curious about was, so the Lord of the Rings is just incredible. No matter what way unless you watch the well, that's not also true. Theatrical editions also better than 99% of all movies, but once you see the extended editions, it really it pales in comparison. But anyway, so I've never really had a problem with any home release of the Lord of the Rings before. So it's like I didn't feel the need to like go out and get that right away, although I'm super curious about what that looks like. But the Hobbit, however, since the movie they were on theaters and ever, it's like I've always had these there's scenes and there's certain things that I've always been just like, this doesn't look quite right. Love those movies, but it's just something wasn't right. So I'm like, I am super curious to see if they fucking address some of this stuff. So I went and I got the Hobbit 4K edition, and I've watched. I'm almost through the third one, but I've watched most of it. It is hands down the best at-home viewing experience I've ever had with anything. They redid the sound mix. They redid all the color correction. They I'm not sure what they did. The thing is, I'm not. So they're going to release all 6 of them in a big pack next summer, which I'm also going to get. But it's like, and they're going to have additional special features in that. And I really hope
exciting.
I really hope they have a special feature where they talk about this, like the remastering of the 4K stuff.
I'm sure
because
they will.
I'm fascinated with like what exactly they all did. Because I bet that most people like they'd watch it and they'd be like, this looks the same. But it's like I watch these movies religiously, like a lot. So it's like little things like really stand out to me when they change them. And they did a lot to tweak these movies and fix them and just like make them look better. And like I said, I've never heard a sound mix this good in a home release ever. Like I've never sat down and not had to change the volume on something before. Like every fucking movie I watch, it's like too loud, a little bit too quiet, whatever. And it's like that. You don't need to fucking touch the remote when you're watching the Hobbit movies. It is perfectly tuned, and it's like we have a 5.1 setup, and it's like perfect 5.1, and the color correction is perfect. It like perfect implementation of HDR. I've never been so impressed with the home release before. I now having seen the Hobbit, I fucking want the Lord of the Rings 4K set so bad just to see what that's gonna look like now. And especially I didn't know that they had gone back and fucking exported all the original film negatives to 4K. So like now that I know that, I'm super excited as well. But if you're one of those people that enjoys the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit or any of those movies, and I guess like you have to have a 4K TV and you have to have a 4K Blu-ray player and all this shit. But it's like if you're one of those people that has all that shit, get the Hobbit 4K set, get the Lord of the Rings 4K set, because it's like it's just like it's an upgrade. Like it's not like they just took the Blu-ray and they fucking whatever up-resed it. It's like it is a completely new experience from the ground up that they fucking have custom tailored, and I am so impressed. I think it's the first time with a 4K movie that, because there are movies that come out that are modern movies that you buy and you expect them to be at that level because like they've had that benefit of the doubt.
These movies are almost 20 years old.
Yeah, exactly. But then there are movies that I've also bought on 4K that are from kind of a similar period, and they're never mind-blowing. It's like they're sharp and they're whatever, and it's like great, but it's like the difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K, you're just like, they didn't really do any work here, or not a ton of work other than having a 4K render. But yeah, like I'm just blown away by the attention to detail and just like the amount of work that went into these new releases. So yeah, absolutely recommend that shit. If you've got somebody in your family who's like a Lord of the Rings nut or whatever, great Christmas present. Couldn't recommend it enough. Yeah, just wanted to mention that before I forgot and didn't mention it in a different podcast.
I think we're probably near time here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I just want to say, I guess I felt very similar about the 4K release of Dude, Where's My Car? They went back and redid most of the effects work and the acting on that one, so that was good.
And
the original film negatives.
And they went back and redid.
Yes, they actually took out Ashton Kutcher and replaced him
with Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
So if we haven't checked that out,
That movie would
Try to imagine that movie now. It's like, that's a very different movie.
Dude, where's my fucking car?
thanks everybody. so
Fuck
much.
you, you fucking
That
ostrich,
was
you
a
fucking piece of shit
Terrible Bill
ostrich.
Burr impression.
Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to today's episode. We're going to be back later
Tonight, tomorrow, maybe.
to talk about
Various lengths of wire.
the different
Various speeds at which light can travel.
Stay tuned. Good night.